Okay, welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Sequoia Community College District. Today is Monday, August 11th, 2025, and there are no reportable actions to report from closed session, so I'd like to invite you to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everyone. We'll start off with item 5, public comment for Board Policy 2350. Any person may address the board at this time either on an agenda item or other matters of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. A maximum of 5 minutes is allowed for each speaker, with a maximum time of 15 minutes per item, unless otherwise extended by the board. At this time, I'd like to invite anyone who would like to make public comment concerning items on the agenda. Not seeing none. I'd like to invite anyone who would like to make public comments concerning items not on the agenda. Not on the agenda? Okay. Moving on to... Oh, okay. Let's take a step back. Item 4, call to meeting to order. At this time, we'd like to do the oath of office for our new student trustee, Elizabeth Martinez.
We have that right now. Oh, we don't. Okay. Why don't you move on, and I'm going to pull that up.
Okay. We'll come back to to trustee report after board member reports. Board member reports, Trustee Sherman.
The only thing I would say, I attended convocation. I think it was my 38th one. So
38. Are you being serious?
Huh?
Is that serious?
Well, who's keeping track?
Trustee Nunes.
Convocation and the food afterwards were both great, and once again, kudos to the department and those folks that prepared the food. I think you can all agree how great it was.
Trustee Lane.
About the same. Convocation was outstanding. The part that I was able to attend, I was drug in and out of a different board meeting, but always pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly, I don't know, surprised is not the right descriptor. Proud, I suppose, of the way that our president superintendent conducts himself and his delivery of a massive amount of information without cue cards. I mean, you know, I turned around 2 or 3 times looking for the cue cards going, okay, there's no way that he could have remembered all that, you know, but
I think
they
Nick
weren't
had
there.
it back there in the back.
So, thank you.
As soon as you turned around, they turned
That's
down.
right, that's right.
Trustee Diaz.
So unfortunately, I was not able to attend convocation due to personal matters. One of them being, my son, who's a high school freshman, had a mandatory parent orientation. So, but looking forward to the next one.
I actually would like to make a comment about convocation myself. I appreciated how the agenda or how the event was set up. You heard multiple videos. Of course, you did a great job, but the videos, starting off having the voice of our first superintendent, really showing how everyone here is part of a 100-year history of wanting to make a difference in Visalia, Tulare County, the local area for our students. So a lot of pride throughout the video, and then ending it with graduation, why we're all here, the why of why we work hard, and why our mission to make a difference in our student lives. So I left motivated, and I think that's the intention. Very excited about the upcoming school year, and so thank you everyone who put that all together, and I look forward to a great year.
Yeah, thank you. Graduation obviously is all of our favorite day because it's for our students. We get to celebrate all of them, and man, it's like Christmas Day for folks that work in higher ed. But Second to that, though, is convocation is just wonderful to bring faculty, staff, and administrators together. First of all, celebrate all of their accomplishments, and then just kind of make sure we're all on the same page moving forward. And then our marketing team and our research team, they come together and put together a wonderful, wonderful presentation. And like I said, if it's not interesting, it's not on them. It's entirely my fault because they do a wonderful, wonderful job. So I think that was my, not to one-up you, Greg, but I think that might have been my maybe 47th convocation. I know Kristen's had maybe even more. And I think that was my 17th time delivering the convocation message. I remember my very first one. I was just happy I didn't pass out and fall off the stage. But I really, really enjoyed those. It's great. And then our food service folks do such a wonderful job of the catering piece afterwards. It's just too bad we didn't have more time just to spend in fellowship with everyone. 500 strong in the Morrow Gym would be great. So thank you for that.
Dr. Calvin?
Yes.
Raymond reminded me of something at the convocation, the video specifically of the carving of the sequoia tree.
Yeah.
And I think you gave credit to Tim for finding that or whatever for it. That was amazing. That was, you need to show that at some of your, that was totally
Yeah, so what I do is
amazing to see
every
that.
semester I take what we've done for convocation and then I trim it down for all of our service club presentations, our retiree brunch. So a shorter version, including all the videos, will be shown to probably another 20 audiences between now and the end of the fall semester. And then, as you know, we'll do a whole separate convocation PowerPoint in January, and I'll do the same thing. I'll cut it down to a more digestible size, and I'll use it throughout the spring. It really makes my presentations easy. So, Trustee Lane was kind enough to do what I should have done earlier today, and that is pull up the oath of office. So, if I can have Miss Elizabeth Martinez meet me here and raise her right hand. Previous trustees would say you have it a lot easier, because all you need to do is raise your right hand and listen to me, and then at some point say, "I do," and I'll read all this, okay? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that you will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter. And you further swear or affirm that you do not advocate nor are a member of any party or organization, political or otherwise, that now advocates the overthrowing of the government of the United States or California by force or violence. Apparently that's a new piece, so. I do. Thank you so much. How about a high five? Woo-hoo! Welcome. That's what I get for not pre-reading this thing, right?
Yeah, right.
I didn't recognize that last part. Thank you, Trustee Lane.
Student Trustee Martinez, welcome to the board. Thank you for being here. I'm not sure if I know this is your first, your meeting, but we do have a section for student trustee report and I'd like to invite you to share some comments. Great.
Okay, so our first report is from Hanford. On July 17th, the COS Police Academy celebrated the graduation of 52 cadets from Class 161. Following a 2-week break, Class 162 began on Monday, August 4th, with 63 new cadets joining their program. Then we have the COS Fire Academy. It launched its first fall academy since the early 1900s with 31 cadets in attendance. Additionally, paramedic cohort is now officially underway. Summer wrapped up with Giant Days at the Hanford campus. Out of 150 RSVPs, we were excited to welcome 127 new Giants to campus. From August 11th through the 14th, Hanford campus will host a Welcome Week. It'll feature a variety of activities to help both new and returning students. And then for Tulare highlights, we have during the first week of school, COS Tulare is hosting Welcome Week. Students can get donuts on Monday and Tuesday morning while receiving directions to classrooms. Enjoy pancakes with the Tulare Provost on Wednesday and received help from the Giant Help Hub. On August 27th, COS will host its annual resource fair where students can learn more about campus services, meet new staff members from different departments, and enjoy live music and free tacos. Our Visalia highlights show during the first 2 days of school, COS deans, directors, and the Student Senate will give out water and snacks as students arrive for their first classes. Posted at 2 campus maps, we help students locate their class and answer a myriad of student questions. Student Senate officers spent 2 days at the coast last week getting to know one another, reviewing job descriptions, establishing core values and practices, as well as confirming the quad calendar for student engagement events. That was it. Thank you.
Questions for Student Trustee Martinez?
Thank you.
Elizabeth, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, like where you went to high school, where your major might be, and where you might want to go to school, things like that?
Okay, my name is Elizabeth Martinez. I went to Tulare Union. I graduated class of 2024. My current major is pathway to nursing, but I no longer see myself going down that route. I really want to switch over to psychology. I hope to become a psychiatrist, and as for a school that I hope to transfer to, I originally got accepted into San Diego State for film, and then I ended up coming over here for nursing, but maybe somewhere in San Diego. I have family over there, and it's really fun, so I would see myself going to college over there.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Much, and we always appreciate you being the voice of the students and letting us know how the things that their students are doing, and so we appreciate your attendance. Okay. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Foster for the foundation report.
Good evening, trustees, President Calvin. I do have just one exciting point I wanted to make with you today. We had a Local Heroes Fund committee meeting that funded some more projects for the college. And this is a result of us at the fund committee level sending out requests for proposals from the programs that are supported by the Local Heroes Fund. And those include nursing and allied health, all our education programs, and of course the police academy and the fire academy. And so those were invited to submit proposals. We ended up funding 10 of those proposals for a total of $82,036. There's still 2 more proposals that are up for consideration. We just needed to send them back for some more information. And that will be another, about $38,000. And this is above and beyond. Some of you folks may recall back in June when I reported on the foundation project funding, $120,000 that we do each year. And that's a request for proposals for the entire college. Every corner of the college could apply to that. This is above and beyond that. And it's thanks to our Local Heroes Fund having an endowment principal balance that allows for $100,000 a year to be generated in investment allocation. So we look forward to doing the same over and over again in the coming years. So I wanted to share that with you. You will see a more detailed amount of description of what the foundation's been giving throughout the course of this year in October. That's when we present to you a commensurate return report. We started doing that last year, and we'll continue to do it every October or so. We'll try to fit it into your agenda. And that's designed to articulate to you how much operating support the college provides the COS Foundation to exist, and then commensurately what the foundation provides to the college in the form of these kinds of gifts back to the college and to the students as well. So we'll be providing that in October.
I just wanted to comment. I know it was already mentioned, but Brent gave you, or Dr. Calvin gave you a better name, but collector of all things historic for for COS, and those things are very exciting to see, and we look forward to the things that we have planned for our 100-year anniversary, and sounds all very exciting of all the things that you've collected, so.
Thank you. It's been exciting. I've been doing it under the auspices of, I'm also the alumni guy, and I've been grabbing clips and photos from those yearbooks and the reels of film and now the VHS tapes and that type of thing. And, you know, what Lauren and her staff do, the magic that they make, I'm just in absolute awe and excited about that. And you know, due to the high demand of those most recent videos, those are now available, published by Lauren's staff. So you folks will have the links to be able to view those and share them with others out in the community.
I went through a little phase where I started collecting COS yearbooks.
Yes.
So I have about 10 or 12 yearbooks that are, you know, 50+ years old, and so it's good to look at where COS used to be and where it's going. So
Agreed. Thank you.
thank you very much. Next accreditation report, Dr. Calvin.
Thank you, President McEnano. As we discussed on Friday, we will have a follow-up visit from the accreditation review team on Monday, the 15th of September, and last through early afternoon on Tuesday, the 16th. They're coming for the purposes of reviewing basically 3 standards, if you will. Recall that in the spring, the team did their remote review of our institutional self-evaluation report and all the documentation that we gave them in support of that. And they checked off over 100 standards and confirmed that we meet those. The final 3 they want more information about are regular and substantive interaction between students and distance ed instructors. The ACCJC is, since COVID, has really taken a harder look at that to ensure that our students have the same type of interaction with their professors that they would in an in-person class. So that's one thing they want to look at closer. The second piece is they want to know how our transition from manually taking care of our chronicling or memorializing our evaluations. They want to make sure that the transition to NeoEd has gone smoothly and as it helped, basically. And it has. And we were just halfway through the implementation period and couldn't demonstrate that to the level we wanted to in the spring. So they'll be able to see that firsthand. And then the third item they want to look at is actually on the more positive side, where they recognize that with our participatory governance structure and our integrated planning structure, that we meet the standard, and in their minds, we exceed it. And anytime you're going to give a institution a commendation for exceeding a standard, you need to ask more questions about it in the form of a core inquiry at the in-person visit, which is what they're going to do. So it's those 3 items they'll be focused on September 15th and 16th. In addition, they'll have a in-person public forum. They had one remotely back in the spring, so they'll do an in-person public forum sometime in that day and a half, and it should be a good visit. We're looking forward to it.
Any
Can
questions?
you expand a little bit on the first item, which was about, I believe, the interactions between professors and students, how we've been able to, well, any steps that we've been able to do in order to make sure we meet that criteria.
So it's called regular and substantive interaction, and so what they do, Trustee Diaz, is they go back a semester and they have us pull a representative sample of classes from a semester that's already finished. And our IT folks help with that, and then they're basically given the history that's contained on Canvas, and they look at how much interaction took place. There's a record of that. And there's a rubric that the ACCJC has in terms of what constitutes RSI and what doesn't. And so they look at the representative sample, and normally it's 15 classes is the pull is what they do. They pull 15 classes, they look at them. And so for us to get a check mark, if you will, we would have to, in their eyes, meet RSI in 85% of them. And we weren't able to establish that in the first pull. And so they came back in June and did a pull of the spring 2025 and reviewed those. But we don't know, they haven't shared whether or not we met the 85%. So that's kind of the first, almost like a litmus test, a safe harbor test. Had we made the 85%, we would have been able to have that threshold, eclipse that threshold and wouldn't be an issue. Because we didn't, it's an issue. And so they're coming back in the fall, and they'll, if they haven't already looked at what the spring pull was, they'll look at that and determine if we meet the 85%. But they'll also look at the steps we've taken to meet this going forward. And we have put in a number of protocols and given a fair amount of assistance to help with the Canvas shells, make it more interactive, done some training, worked with our collective bargaining units to put some maybe, I don't want to say stricter, but more training in process that's required of faculty to go through the training up front and so forth. So we'll be able to demonstrate that to them as well. Hey, you folks are looking in the rearview mirror at what was happening last year, but look at all this good stuff that we've done. And then one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to say, oh, you guys are well on your way, and we'll sign off on an 8-year extension of your accreditation, or they'll sign off on essentially a 1.5 year extension, and they'll come back in 18 months and review that and see if we've made progress on the RSI.
Has there been an increase in participation in the trainings from staff?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. I think there was trainings prior to. There was and they were well attended. I just think there was maybe things that over time we weren't doing, even though they may be in the trainings we weren't doing, or we weren't demonstrating in the classes that were pulled. So yeah, so it's something that I think we're all concerned about, but I feel like everyone is rowing in the same direction, and not that this is any excuse or we should take solace from it, but it is it's a thing right now in our system. It's not like there's one or two of us that are dealing with this. It's just about every single accreditation that's happening right now, RSI becomes something that they look at, and it ends up being kind of a, well, boy, is this an 18 months and we come back to check it, or do we feel comfortable going 8 years on this? So lots of, I mean, my 3 most recent accreditation visits where I was the chair, this ended up being kind of one of the final things we had to decide on, 18 months or 8 years.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Ken?
I think we probably discussed this at previous meetings when the subject came up, but I guess would it be fair to say that it's kind of a wake-up call to all those that are involved, and now we're kind of setting more guidelines in place so that, the issue, hopefully won't
Yeah, I
come
think
up again.
anytime you go through something like this, it makes you pay more attention, and I think we'll come out of it stronger. And there's such a high expectation. I mean, for instance, we could be doing a bang-up job on 4 out of every 5 classes, and we would still be having an issue. And so I want to make sure that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater here and not recognize that there's a lot of folks doing great work. And some, and maybe for some it's not even intentional. They've been doing it a long time and haven't evolved as much as they should. And for that, we'd have to take some ownership of that too as a district. So I think we'll get through it, and I do think it's serving as a wake-up call for all of us. And I also don't want to lose track of the fact that there's about 128 standards, I believe, and we're coming back and looking at 2. So in my estimation, we crushed the first half of this visit, and I don't want any of us to feel like we haven't. Yes, we've got a couple of things that we need to work on, but very few are the accreditation visits that don't have something towards the end that needs to be worked on. So, thank you both.
Any additional questions for Dr. Calvin? Okay, we'll move on to Superintendent President's report. Back to you, Dr. Calvin.
Okay, I'm still up. I've got a special recognition to make, but first, let me just get through the enrollment update. We finished the year extremely strong, over 11,000 full-time equivalent students for the first time in history, up 23% since 2022, kind of as we were coming out of COVID. And unlike a lot of our colleagues up and down the state, we have just shown incredible growth to get back to pre-pandemic and then some levels. The 11,000 I just quoted did not include any of summer of 2025. We pushed 900 FTES into the current year. And we had been able to do almost that exact same thing last summer, which is a nice position to be in, to be able to push that much FTES forward, because you never know with Cal Getze, and Kristen is our Dean of Enrollment Management, and she's got a list of what we call possible calamities, things that could really affect our FTES in any given year, and it's a pretty long list. And I try not to look at it very often. There's just a lot of things that can affect your FTES. Fortunately for us, summer was awesome. And right now, we're almost exactly where we were last fall, up over 4,850 FTES. Last year, we finished with 4,809. So we're tracking really, really well with our largest fall ever, which was fall of 2024. The state did come back and fund a lot of that, what we thought would be unfunded growth this past spring. And so that should become our new base. So we're excited about all that. And really, it takes an entire village, as I said on Friday, from recruiting these students and supporting them and making sure we retain them, to offering the right mix of course offerings, day, morning, afternoon, evening, online, hybrid, in-person, all that, keeping them here, the fantastic instruction that occurs, and then certainly the folks in administrative services, from technology to facilities to fiscal. It really does take this entire group to do this. And you can see it's not easy. And that's why there are districts in our system that are 30% off their pre-COVID numbers still. Got a friend in Southern California. They were close to 14,000 FTES pre-COVID, and they're under 10 now, and they're struggling just to get back to 10,000 FTES. So we're doing great, and hopefully this list of calamities never comes to fruition. It's just a figment for me and Kristen to have nightmares about is all. So enrollment's great, and so now I get to do the fun thing, and if we could have Greg, Brian, Dustin, Adam, and I don't think Fasal's with us tonight, is he? No. Okay, so if we can have those folks just come right up here. I'd like to just give you some background, and Greg was nice enough just so, and Dave, if you want to come up too, come on up. Dave's the dean of that area. I would just like to, I had Greg just kind of write up some background on this, just so we kind of recognize what a significant cybersecurity breach this was. And this is kind of the dream team that helped put it together. But in early July, a serious flaw was discovered in a suite of Microsoft software used for running websites. It's the same software we run our COS EDU website. The security fixes were not immediately available. 2 weeks later, on a weekend, federal agencies began alerting the public that this vulnerability was being actively exploited in a zero-day attack. It's called zero-day attack because you get 0 days to fix it. Our staff took notice of the federal warnings first thing on Monday morning, the 21st of July, and began to take action. Microsoft still didn't have a complete fix by that evening, the 21st, and as of Tuesday, they were still applying fixes, and our system detected blocked multiple cyber attacks. Greg told me later that this is the kind of thing that you end up on Dateline, talking about how big was the ransom that came your way. The most serious attack ran malicious software for approximately 2 minutes before other layers of security detected and stopped the attack. Out of caution, we shut down all remote access to these servers to wipe and restore them in order to have confidence they were secure. No evidence of data loss, corruption, ransomware, or broader network compromise has been found so far. The restoration process took longer than expected, 50 hours. And at some points, I think these guys were sleeping 2 hours on, 2 hours off, almost like firemen, checking and reinstalling. And Greg said by the early hours of the 24th of July, we had fully restored cos.edu and secured with updated protection. He said the bottom line was the attack was detected, contained, and stopped, and the focus now is on prevention and improving resilience. And I just felt like this was such a big thing. We needed to bring these folks in. So you have Greg Meinert, who's the manager over this area. Dave Rickard is the dean. But then we have Brian Queso is the cloud infrastructure engineer. Brian. Dustin Sheeler is our webmaster. We all know Dustin. Adam Finbrez is our cybersecurity administrator. And then Vasal Lee is not here, but he's our system administrator, and he was up to his kneecaps in this stuff too. I just want to thank you guys for your commitment on this thing. This is the kind of thing that keeps all of us awake at night, and to catch it and then be so committed to restoring it so fast. I know you guys pulled some all-nighters like you were back in college, and I hope Greg at least bought you some pizza or something.
He owes us.
He owes you. He owes you. And I think Greg wanted to talk just a little bit about, because Greg and Dave are the ones that came to the board, you'll recall, and said we need to commit to cybersecurity. And it was about the same time that these attacks were going on nationwide, and Dateline had a series of episodes on just how hard schools and large institutions were being hit. We know that Visalia Unified got hit. We know that Sierra College and our system got hit, and several others. So, Greg, I don't know if you want to speak to kind of just what we were able to do from a third-party standpoint to alert us to this.
Sure. So we had the good fortune of having resources available to us with a third-party company, Threat Hunter. We have been working with them now for about 4 years, and we also had the good fortune of getting some additional positions added to our team, so we had people to help look for this stuff and help us react to these issues. But a lot of that comes from actions years ago where our senior management got behind us and made it clear that they will support us in these kinds of events. And the board made the decision also to support these efforts. And this meeting tonight could have been a different meeting where we're discussing the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we'd be spending to notify the public, to make amends for this issue, to recover from this issue. Instead, we're having a celebration. So thank you for the foresight to do that.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Board members, would you like to make a comment or address the team?
I would just like to say thank you very much for your commitment and dedication. You guys are real knights in shining armor, literally, for our campus, so thank you so much.
I don't know if the chief's going to issue any firearms, but I think he could deputize you for sleuth work there. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yes. Very good. Thank you very much.
Hey, but we're not gonna make you sit through the rest of the meeting, so
We'll get some pizza.
go get some pizza. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. End of report.
Actually, do you mind making a quick comment on something you mentioned at convocation in regards to us being ranked #1 regionally and then #6 in the
Oh, yeah.
state?
Yeah.
You don't
So,
mind
yeah, it was great because Thursday, they always throw these last second things right before convocation, which is great. Remember, 2 years ago, I said in convocation, 2 years ago, the night before convocation, Fortune magazine came out and had named us one of the top 100 employers nationwide. And at first, I figured it was an advertising scam of some sort, but lo and behold, they rank based on all kinds of factors, including employee and student surveys, which are all readily available now. And so, I was able to share that news. That was awesome. Then last year, the College Futures Foundation, which is headed by Eloy Oakley, who was the statewide chancellor of our system before moving over as the CEO of that group, they looked at every single program at UCs, CSUs, and community colleges. So how many is that? That's like 150 institutions in California. All the programs, thousands of programs total, and they came up with the one best program for return on investment, and it was the COS nursing program. That was awesome. That was the night before convocation. So this year, I'm going to start to expect this, by the way. This year, on the night before convocation, we get word that the the College Futures Foundation, and I should have known because Eloy had sent me an email on Wednesday, and he said, we're going to have some news tomorrow. If you want to tune in. And of course I didn't. I just kind of forgot about it. And then my phone started blowing up on Thursday afternoon because what they did is they looked at every trade school and every community college in the state of California, and they looked at all of our programs as an institution, and they said these colleges in our list are the best for return on investment. Similar metrics to the study before, but they looked at all of our programs and then kind of judged us as one college. Anyway, we were ranked #1 in the Valley for return on investment and #6 in the state out of 115 colleges. Pretty neat stuff. Yeah, pretty neat stuff.
Applaud that, if I may.
Thank you.
I wanted to highlight that because as much as we can to thank the staff and administration, faculty, everyone that works at COS, I want to make sure that we highlight that because we're very proud to be in the seats that we are, but very proud of the work that you do for our students. So thank you very much. Okay, moving on to reports. I don't see Dr. Arzola, Academic Senate President's Report. Ms. Redden, Costa President's Report. No? Ms. Kane, CSEA President's Report update. Okay.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to start off by thanking the district for their assistance in getting COS staff out to the new TRC location to provide facility services and share that CSEA looks forward to hopefully seeing more custodians on our campuses after all of those discussions. We also wanted to share that CSEA appreciates the district's commitment to hire more IT staff, and also wanted to highlight that just last week, frustrations around the IT workload and management caused a longtime loyal district employee to resign. So as you can imagine, this has exacerbated the need for skilled classified assistants in this department, and we look forward to completing approval of updated job descriptions expeditiously to fill these needs quickly. CSEA would also like to simultaneously congratulate Dr. Jesse Wilcoxon on his new position and thank Dr. Vega Lacerna for her years of service at COS and wish her the best in her new position. Lastly, CSEA would like to thank President and Superintendent Dr. Calvin for the time and consideration that he took in traveling to Reno to address the CSEA delegate body and accept a plaque for the district on behalf of Katie Kane and attend the awards recognition luncheon. It was a great show of the amazing people that make COS great. Thank you.
And you were awesome.
Thank you.
Janet, you crushed
Thank
your
you.
speech too.
Thanks.
Thank you for that report. Any questions? Okay. Moving on to Ms. Alberti, COSAFA President's Report. Nope. Okay. Now moving on to item 8, information, annual staff report. Mr. Bratch.
John, I did not recognize you.
I know.
so
It's
back there.
Looks so good on you, Greg, I thought I'd try. Every August at the August board meeting, I bring to the board an annual staffing report, which shows the number of employees we have in all 3 bargaining units, as well as management and confidential. And this report also indicates the number of students we have enrolled at COS. I've been doing this now for the past 15 years, and the purpose is twofold. It informs the board where we are as of August 1st, but it also serves as sort of a historical marker as to where we were going back. So if we ever have questions about, how many classified staff do we have in 2012, well, this report gives you a handy reference. I also included in the annual staffing report, which is probably not necessary, but a name and title of all of our employees on campus to let you know how we're doing as far as staffing goes from year to year. The item I'm bringing before you tonight is just information only. No action needs to be done, but I did want to open it up for any questions the board may have with regards to our annual staffing report for 2025 and 2026.
John, if I counted every one of those names, it would tally 855.
I think so. We could try it right now if you want. If you want to take it on.
John would have to take his shoes off.
I'll do it at home.
Questions for Mr. Bratch?
I noticed a significant increase in staffing. It seemed to be total from 842 last year to 855. Looking back, there's been kind of a steady increase. There have been some blips, but I see that as an absolute positive and actually proportionate to student growth. That was a significant increase.
It actually looks like management went down by 2, faculty by 4, classified up by 14. Adjunct really bounces around. It's up by 5, but the year before it had gone up by 56. But that can be misleading because with adjunct you may have three adjuncts teaching 1 class each, or you may have 1 adjunct teaching a max load of 3. So that kind of bounces around a little bit. But the first 3 columns, or the first 3 rows, are full-time employees. So you kind of see how things change from last year to this year.
Helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, even the year before, I'm seeing this for the first time. I guess I should have looked at it a little closer. The year before, classified was at 225, so they went up by 15 year before last, and then 14 this year. So what's that? 29 in a 2-year period. But I do think we have a little bit of work left to do in the 2 areas that Janet had mentioned, and I'm sure you'll be hearing a little more about that.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Annual update on the COS Training Resource Center. Mr. Segarra.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, President Calvin. I just have 5 PowerPoint slides that summarize and highlight the outcomes of fiscal year 24-25 for the Training Resource Center. Some metrics on the employers and participants served this past 24-25. This graph by itself doesn't give you the context of the trends, which I will show in the next slide. But one thing I wanted to highlight is one row that we added for the first time, which is labeled single employer, ETP subcontractor, which never had before. And I will explain that in the next slide, because that category now has generated a large number of classes, registrations, and hours of instruction. And that has to do with the way now we are deploying our employment training panel agreement or contract, which is a reimbursement fund that we have access to, and we're now making it available to some selected employers, which we did not do before. So it is the first time we're doing this. So just to give you a context, in a 5-year trend analysis, you will see that the numbers of employers served have increased compared to the previous year. Also, the number of classes have increased significantly, and number of participants, and number of individuals. And that's primarily because, again, that's a 151% increase in the number of classes, and a 42% increase in number of participants, and 142% in the number of non-online training classes, which are the in-person classes that we provide. And that has to do with allowing some of our local employers, in this case, the example would be Leprino Foods, where they, in partnership with the Training Resource Center, provide training to their employees on technology that we don't have capabilities for. So we extend our contract that we have with the Employment Training Panel so they can train their own employees while doing on-the-job training, and also in topics and skills that we may not have the equipment or the expertise. So we never did that before, because the contracts that we got from the Employment Training Panel were primarily used for the trainings that we provide, that we developed. But we feel there is a need out there for some employers, and we don't do this with every employer. We do it with the ones that we have developed a strong relationship, so that they can have access to that funding. And in turn, we retain a small percentage. They get the bulk of the reimbursement, 70%, and we retain 30%. That's why the numbers are so high this year in regards to the number of classes and participants. So as you can see, there's been a progressive in the positive direction here as far as the number of employers and participants served over the last few years. The next chart shows the training performance and satisfaction that we keep track of. Every training that we provide, we monitor and we measure the levels of satisfaction as indicated by the participants. And we track different metrics, such as learning and increase, use and application, and the overall satisfaction, which it would be kind of if you rate a transaction or product with a 5-star, it's a 1 to 5. So we've been able to maintain overall satisfaction pretty close to the max, which is the 5. So it's been 4.78 the last 2 years. So we haven't gone below 4.6 in the last 5 years. And that's been the case also the previous 5. And that's been how long the Training Resource Center has been in operation, 10 years, I believe, or 11 years. The next chart, I may have some questions from the Board of Trustees. It shows our financial results. Now, last year, the fiscal year 24-25 has been the best year from a financial standpoint. But that is a reflection, it's a byproduct of the work that we pursue in regards to our mission, which is to provide business and industry with the tools that they need to grow and to train their employees. So it's a big jump from the previous fiscal year, almost close to $1 million. And that has to do with a special one-time opportunity that we had with Employment Training Panel that about 13 colleges out of the 113 were able to obtain to assist healthcare providers with trainings within their operations. In similar scenario that I explained earlier, that's how we learned to do the assistance to the employers. We kept a small fee, the 30% of the funding, and we provided the other 70% to the local hospitals. We work with Ventis, Cahuilla, Altura, I'm trying to remember all of them, all the different providers in the area. And that was a one-time opportunity that we had. I don't foresee that coming anytime soon, so we may go back in the next fiscal year to the 1.3, 1.4 type of revenue figures compared to this past year. It was almost 2.2. And by the way, when I put together this chart, fiscal had not closed all of the categories for the Training Resource Center. So I think 2 days later, they closed out the year for us. And our results are now 571, they're 501. So it's about $70,000 less that we made a surplus this particular year, which has allowed us to increase our reserves. In the next slide, I want to explain how that is so beneficial to the Training Resource Center, because now we have a new location in the industrial park. Last year, November last year, the district purchased a new facility. It's about 6,000 square feet. The facility is located at 1233 North Century. That will be the southwest corner of Plaza and Goshen Boulevard. Goshen Avenue? Is it Goshen Avenue, right? That's right about a block and a half from the Cahuilla Clinic that now operates in the industrial park. So we have a new facility, and at the time it couldn't have been better for such excellent financial results the past fiscal year, because we're investing about $550,000 to $600,000 in remodeling and upgrading that new facility. In fact, it's undergoing construction now. We started operating out of that location July 1st. So we ended our lease in partnership with Sorma USA, where the Justin building used to be. So we left the building at the end of June of this year, and we started operating out of the new facility. Just in the office portion, we also had to remodel it and paint it, but it's operational, so we're there, even though there's a lot of work in the warehouse. So that's one of the investments we're making so that we can grow TRC even more and maintain that sustainability in the coming years. That's the idea, that's the plan. Now, since we have a sizable reserve, thanks to Rainbow, we talked about how can we maximize the savings that we have, and she mentioned to me this LAIF that I never heard of it before. I knew there was something out there, but I wasn't sure what it was. And this is a local agency investment fund that public institutions like ours can set aside some of their savings and invest it on government bonds and those type of financial instruments, and guarantees that you will not lose the principal, but there's the upside on the interest that we will gain. And typically has to do, and it goes along with the interest that you get nowadays with money market accounts and treasury bonds and things like that. So our intent was, and my intent was, to set aside about a year's worth of funds that can cover the operation of TRC in case we were to face a downturn in the economy or
Those calamities.
A pandemic like the COVID-19, which we went through and really wiped out our savings. So the plan is to keep that in reserves and make it grow. But right now, I think it's 4%, right, Rambo? But I noticed in the last 5 years, been going 1%, 2, 3, so now it's at 4. But likely the interest rate will come down now that that's the likelihood at the Federal Reserve. So it'll come down, but at least we will be able to at least make some money out of the savings that we have. So that we're going to set aside, and then the rest we're going to use in the remodeling of the new facility. Go ahead.
Are the costs associated with the remodeling and upgrading of the new facility reflected in the expenses on the previous page?
No.
So those go in?
Yes.
They'll go into the next fiscal year?
Yes, they will.
Okay.
They will, yeah.
And that's That's a rented facility, I
No,
suspect.
it's owned by the district.
Oh, the district
Yeah,
already.
they rent it from us, but I'm thinking we might, after looking at these numbers, we may need to renegotiate.
So out of the 1.8, and then, by the way, we're talking about 750 in reserves, about $600,000 we're gonna have to spend. But also, we've been waiting for this time for us to be able to offer new programs. And we're planning to buy new equipment. We've been also wanting to plant the seed for a food incubator, an entrepreneurship center for food industry. And we've tried to work with different institutions. They always ask us, do you own the facility, or can you show us that you have a long-term viability plan? And now we do. So our plan is to also create what I call a food lab at that location, and to be able to go after partnerships with Fresno State and some other institutions that have grants, so that we can promote a food innovation center. That's the plan, and that obviously requires investment. This is all investments that we're making with the money that we have saved over the last 11 years.
When you finish with the renovations,
Yes.
are you planning on a ribbon cutting ceremony?
Yes,
That'd be
we
nice.
are. Delays. We were hoping that they would be done by the end of August, but it doesn't look that way, so it's probably gonna be sometime in September. Even though we already have classes scheduled there, but we're gonna have to move them. So once we know for sure when they're gonna finish, we're going to plan and make you all, or invite you all to attend the ribbon cutting at the new location. It's gonna look awesome. I'm very excited. I was meeting with the electricians today and going over the details before I start putting drywall. Because I said, you gotta do it now. If any changes, do it now. So that's what I spent the morning with them today. So just want to highlight the fact that this was, again, TRC's best financial year. But our mission is not to make a profit. Our mission is to support employers so that they can grow. It just happens that when the operation runs and performs as expected, then we have a surplus, and that's been the case. And we've been also very cautious in the way we operate. We watch our expenses, because we realize that without that partnership with employers, without the revenue that we can get from those partnerships and with Employment Training Panel, we couldn't really make those investments that we just made. And also, Smart Automation Certification Alliance is also another program that we're going to support with the reserves that we have. We already launched this program. It's been a gradual launch, but we're in conversations to speed it up a little and power it up so that we can make it a formal offering on a regular basis. Right now, it's being offered based on demand. So if employer is interested in this type of certification, we provide that type of training. In fact, we have a conversation with one of the large warehouses here, BF Outdoors, that would like this training for their employers on Saturday. So we're going to have conversations with them to discuss the schedule. And last but not least, we have also developed partnerships with Butte College and State Center Community College District for, in the case of Butte College, is partnership for the vegetation management trainings that we provide, arborist training, utility lines clearance, pre-inspector. That's what we do primarily in Tulare. And in the case of the State Center is a grant that we are both partners for food safety. That allows us to offer HACCP training, preventive controls for human food, produce safety rule, and things like that that are related to the food and the ag industries. So that's all I have, and don't know if you have any questions.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Segarra, for this presentation. I'm very excited, and hopefully you will invite us to the ribbon cutting.
Oh, I'm sure we will
But
do that.
You mentioned that, the TRC has partnerships with, community colleges and employers.
Mm-hmm.
So who can participate in these programs? Does a person have to be a student of the campus, of the college, I'm sorry, or do they have to be an employee of one of these companies? Or can anybody just off the street say, hey, you know what, I would really like to, increase my tool belt with additional skills. Can I participate?
Now, every offering that we have, every training that we provide has a cost. Since we're not funded by the state nor the district, we have to charge a fee for the trainings. So 95% of the trainings that we provide typically are with the employees of the companies in the area, business and industry, but also public employers. We work with the Kings County, Tulare County, Visalia Unified, TCOE, so they send their employees for our trainings, whether it's business writing or computer skills, soft skills, social skills. And so there's a fee for the training. In a way, when people ask me, what is it you do? We provide customized workforce training, but it is customized not just on the content, but also the schedules. If an employer wants a training in the morning, twice a week, or the other employer wants it once a week in the evenings, we can do that. So for that reason, 95% of the time we're working and the training we provide are to the employees of the companies in the two counties, even though we go outside the two counties from time to time. For some reason, Fresno City has a much smaller operation. I don't know why. It's a state center. So we go and provide training to employers in Fresno County too. Now, the other 5%, from time to time, we have grants. They allow us to subsidize the cost of that training. And then we provide that and we make it available to anybody interested. If someone that is attending COS that wants to improve their skills can take that class if the funding is available to be able to offset the cost. Otherwise, the fee still remains whether it is someone employed or someone looking for work.
They're also not for credit.
Oh, this is, yeah.
The transcript.
It is not, but sometimes it is if, again, there's funding that subsidizes the cost, and we can make it available to. In fact, we had 2 of the SACA trainings complete. Each one of those is 36 hours, and we had people that are unemployed, they're looking for work. We just finished a project with the Workforce Investment Board, where it was 90 hours of training that included 2 certifications, SACA plus some soft skills. And the web is the one that screened the participants. They had 20 people, and they had their own criteria for selecting them. So they had to be unemployed, looking for work. So they were not employed, but we provided the training to them as part of that project that we have with the Workforce Investment Board. We use a strong workforce from time to time to offer trainings to anyone interested. Those classes get filled fast because we don't like the word free, because kind of diminishes the value of the training. So we charge a fee that is reimbursable if they complete the training. It's more work for us because it's more administration, but we have learned that way at least we get some buy-in from some of the participants. So, but yeah, 95% is primarily for the employees. But that's not to say that we couldn't expand that if funding is available, obviously.
You actually answered my second question as to how the TRC would differentiate itself from other resources out there like the Employment Connection and whatnot. And so, yeah, thank you.
They normally don't provide training, we do, and they contract with us for the services.
Thank you.
Yes, Ken?
Jorge, the source of your instructors for the various programs do those come from the private local sector, or do you have to go out and search for specialized? And the second part of that maybe wouldn't be for you, but those, for lack of a better term, faculty, they're not part of the list that we saw, correct?
No.
Because that's a separate, am I correct on that?
Yes, yeah, separate.
Yeah, we have a mix. We have some of our trainers, there are, for the most part, adjunct at COS. We have a couple of them that are adjunct, no, more than a couple, 2 or 3. I'm thinking Heather, I'm thinking Brian, I'm thinking Dan. But we also have partnerships with what we call subject matter experts. They have the expertise and they come in and work for us. Now, I believe that we pay a better hourly rate so that way we can compete with. So when they have a choice, they can work with us. And the work that we do is different because there are no papers to grade, and that's what part of our pitch is that they come and they train. We measure their performance based on the satisfaction.
We may not have you back. You started to steal our adjunct.
Based on the feedback that we get from the employers, because we reach out to the employers after the training to ask them for the feedback and input. Same thing with the participants. And sometimes we have to stop working with some of our trainers, and we retain the ones that have good performance. So,
Thank you for the report.
thank you. Any other questions?
I
I'm curious about the relationship with Luprino Foods. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
You picked a winner in terms of coordinating with them. They have consistently been high-performing and, you know, top of their market and so on.
I'm sorry, John, which company was that?
Luprino Foods.
Oh, Luprino, yeah.
In Lemoore. But I'm curious, of the courses that they're offering through you, are you able to borrow the curriculum where it's not proprietary, and then broaden your book of available training?
That's a possibility. We haven't, this is a brand-new relationship, something is new, but over time, we can probably do that. I don't see why not. Now, the courses that they teach sometimes are 2-hour courses, a small group of people, so it's part of the OJT, on-the-job training that they have. But they have the expertise in dairy and cheese making, so we couldn't do that. But if there's enough demand, the good thing is with some of these employers is that most of them are willing to, because they also go through the same pains. They're always losing employees to the other cheesemaker. So they're willing to share the knowledge so that they can prepare the workforce so there are qualified labor available. That's the case with the industrial automation and in the maintenance mechanic field. It's very competitive, and they're always looking for the possibility to upskill their employees because they may lose some of them, but at the same time, they can get employees from other companies too.
Yeah, Luprino is a good example of a company working with several different parts of our district, including TRC, as Jorge has explained, but also Luprino, gosh, going back at least a decade. Dr. Robinson and I would work with Luprino and bring them in to be advisory on our industrial maintenance program, and then they normally, because of that relationship, they normally get kind of first dibs on some of our graduates and things like that. They've been a good partner for a long time now.
And in the report, I had a kind of sample of employers that we want to highlight this time around, and Luprino is one of them, but the other one that we're doing this type of, we call it the share. It's Vitapack. It's another company. We did that also with Faraday at one point, yeah, so. Okay.
You've done a great job.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Jorge.
Thanks.
I'll call you tomorrow about the rent, okay?
So you mentioned earlier during your presentation that there were about, I don't know if it was 20 or 40 people who participated in one of the programs.
Workforce investment program.
Yes, and who were unemployed and who met certain criteria. Were they able to find jobs after?
Some of them did.
6 have been employed so far. One of our adjuncts is working with them. He's still working with them on some of the SACA certifications. They didn't pass all of them, so as they get more of these credentials, that's one reason we want to expand the SACA so that people that maybe have taken some classes but can't get the certification can come back and test again. So, but the WIB is working with them through the Employment Connection. Now they have these training skills, you know, that have been codified, so they're helping them with they're doing the more, trying to find them on the job training.
Yeah, we started with 20, I think 12 of them finished, and we had a ceremony for graduation. There was a lot of people there, a lot of family members came. I remember that. That was in Tulare, so it was great. So out of the 12, 6, but I believe the Employment Connection and the WIB are continuing working with them and making the connections with employers, because the employers are the ones that said, it's hard for us to find qualified labor, so in response to that, the WIB with TRC said, let's put this program together. And so now we have the people that you were asking for, so grant them an interview at least, not necessarily you hire them, but at least commit to an interview, and that's what they're doing. Thank
So we're
you.
renting our building to you, is that right?
Is that?
We're renting our building to
Oh,
you.
I'm paying lease, right? Right? We're paying lease, we're paying $70,000 a year, I think.
7,000 a year?
70.
70.
Oh.
70.
I was gonna say
70,000.
7,000 sounds like a deal.
He's paying, I think, he's essentially paying it off in 15 years.
15 years, that's-
15 years, and then after that, it'll still belong to us, but his payments will go way down and just kind of cover the maintenance. So it's a good deal both ways. We're getting our costs back. But after seeing that reserve, we need to expedite it, Hal.
Well, the good thing, we're in the middle of the industrial park, that's where we need it to be. And
And it was a beautiful building, below market, and somebody needed to occupy it, so why not TRC?
It's an AC building before? Or?
Yes, it used to be Comfort now, and also they had a business, a plumbing business, was called Lee's Plumbing. So,
Good job.
thank you.
Very much. Moving on to item 9, consent calendar. All items listed on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. An item may be removed from the consent calendar at the request of any member of the Board of Trustees and any member of the audience and considered as a separate agenda item. The items are minutes of the previous meeting, personnel report, and payment of bills.
Move we approve the consent calendar.
Motion from trustee Sherman and a second from trustee Diaz. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
You can vote too, you know.
I did today.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Just a little quietly, but yeah.
Next, item 10, action number 6, approval to increase the salary schedule and the medical cap for management and confidential employees. Mr. Branch.
Last year, we settled collective bargaining agreements with all 3 bargaining units. And with regards to Costa and CSEA, there was an agreement that the salary schedules shall increase for the 2025-2026 year by COLA +1. That also was applicable to CASAFA as well. So although we agreed with the bargaining units, managers, however, rely upon the board to formally approve the increase in salary schedule as well. So my agenda item is twofold. First is to request that the board formally approve that the management and confidential salary schedules be increased by 3.3%, which is consistent with the other bargaining units. And that increase would be retroactive to July 1st of 2025. The second item I would ask is that consistent with both CSEA and Costa, that the health cap for managers and confidential employees be increased the same amount. And that amount is an increase of $1,035. And that won't take effect until the medical plan year, which starts October 1st of 2025. So at this time, I would ask that the board formally approve both of these increases for management employees as well as confidential employees.
Can
Yes.
you confirm the percentage of what that covers from the increase for the year?
Yes, that would be a 75-25 split for this year.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of action item 6, approval to increase salary schedules and medical cap for management and confidential employees.
Second.
Motion from trustee Nunes, seconded by trustee Lane. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Item 7, thank you, Mr. Branch. Item 7, approval of employment agreement between the district and the assistant superintendent, vice president of academic services.
In the past week or so, we were fortunate enough to have Jesse Wilcoxon accept our employment offer, being our new assistant superintendent of academic services. And pursuant to that, we were able to secure a employment agreement with him. That employment agreement is applicable to all of our assistant superintendents. Where I was just here, I think it was 2 months ago, asking that the board approve those employment agreements. Well, here I am again in August, asking that the board formally approve the employment agreement between the district and Dr. Wilcoxon for the position of assistant superintendent / vice president of academic affairs.
Draw, huh?
Look at him out there sweating in his new suit.
It's not signed yet.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion by trustee Lane, seconded by trustee Sherman. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Welcome.
before you adjourn,
You got the job, and now you can get paid.
Item 8, board policy, second read. Dr. Calvin.
thank you, President McElhaney. We have a second read on BP 5073, mandatory first day attendance. And you see in bold and underlined just a little bit of new updated language. Happy to answer any questions and/or accept a motion to approve.
Just a clarifying question. This obviously requires the student, but is there some administrative process that somebody can evaluate that there was good reason if they didn't? Or is it just a flat, you're not here, you don't?
I think they have the discretion.
Yeah.
They have some
I
discretion.
would think it'd be appropriate.
Yeah.
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 That was it.
Move we approve board policy 5073.
Second that?
A motion from trustee Sherman, seconded by trustee Diaz. All in favor, say aye.
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 Got an easy meeting.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone,
I
for.
have just one item, I'm sorry, but in the consent calendar, let me just find it here, the personnel report, item Roman numeral 4, under new full-time faculty salary placement revision. And I'm kind of just speaking to John or Kristen, Jessica. I believe Stacy Wilshire is being hired as a full-time temp for the year, if I recall properly. And I just wanted to go, we'll verify, and if there needs to be a change, we'll come back in September. Is that the way we would do it, John?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to say we revise all the time, but sometimes we do any revisions back to the board.
Okay. And the column and step would be correct. I just think we might have her misplaced under new full-time faculty, and maybe it should be up in Roman numeral 2, temporary 1 year full-time. I believe that's how she's been hired for this year, but I was wrong 4 times before noon today, so it may not be. I just wanted to go on record as saying we'll check into that and maybe bring back something in September.
Sounds good. Very excited about this semester. Thank you for all your hard work, and we'll see you next month, if not sooner. Thank you.
Leave the binder here.